Genshin Impact, the video game which has had an impact on all of our lives. If you play Genshin, you will know how the characters are divided. No, I'm not talking about all the body types. I'm not talking about all the elemental resonance. I'm talking about 4 stars and 5 stars. Have you ever looked at a 4-star and thought, this should be a 5-star? Have you ever looked at a 5-star and think, they're not good enough to be a 4-star? Well, that's what I'm here to do today. Of course, this list is just my own opinion, and if you disagree with it, I'm not trying to start a fight, because I will lose. First character. The main character. Spooky. Since I'm doing this through lore, technically officially, we're going to treat Lumine as the leader of the Abyss, and treat Aether as the guy who keeps threatening to eat Paimon. So Aether comes in, and he uses what's famously known as the dull blade, which, you know, amazingly isn't as dull as his personality. Think about it. He's quite funny. He makes jokes. Well, you can make him make jokes. You can choose the funny dialogue, and then Paimon is like, eh. Aether, canonically, is strong. As the main character, Aether's in a tier of his own. Aether, I'm going to put him in a tier called 6-star. What's 6-star, you ask? Well, you can figure that out, surely. It's the best one. Lumine also goes into this tier. Go to Albedo now. The thing is, Albedo has not had much to do in the main. He hasn't had anything to do in the main story, I'm pretty sure. He's just had his limited Dragonspine event quests, as well as the Klee one on the those islands. Albedo, though, has a lot of lore. He has a lot of lore. He's very important, and like it does seem, and his storyline is going to continue seemingly every Christmas for however many years. A lot of history behind him. He's been alive for a very long time, and that makes him interesting, and I think that makes him important enough to be a 5-star. Amber, she's nice. She's the first person you meet. It's nice, but she doesn't serve much of a role in the story. But yeah, so because of that, I see her as a 4-star. And because I see her as a 4-star like that, I see Kaya as a 4-star, and I see Lisa as a 4-star for those same reasons. They're just the starter team. Like, you know, who doesn't like them? Sure, a character might be important in their area, but their area isn't the entire world for that. Like Ayaka, she's the first person you meet, but she's not going to have any importance after we leave Inazuma. I mean, she's disappeared pretty much halfway through the Archon quest. How important was Ayaka? She is the first figure of authority you meet in Inazuma who's a playable character. She's essentially your call to action in the Inazuma story. She's the one who makes you do anything, really, because you're like, this, you know, this vision decree can't be that bad, and then she's like, it's bad, and you're like, oh shit, it's bad. I feel if she was more in the Inazuma story, I'd definitely put her as a 5-star. But I think she's a great character. Like, I actually really enjoy her playstyle. But I think I'm gonna put her in a 4-star, and I do have something else I want to say about her. Barbara, she's nice. She might be she could be the most famous person in Mondstadt, but she's just famous in Mondstadt. As soon as you leave Mondstadt, she's no longer important. And the only real thing she did in the story was talk about an upside down statue for a bit, which was helpful. Best quest I've played in the game so far. And then also you steal a lyre from a 4-star. Beidou's interesting. I feel if I get this wrong, I could make angry a lot of people. She is strong in terms of the lore. She's the head pirate of, you know, fake pirate. I mean, we've only seen one ship, so maybe it's just the one ship. She's the head pirate. She pretty much controls the sea. But the sea is only really important to Inazuma and Liyue. I don't know how much she's going to appear once we go to Sumeru. and Fontaine and Snezhnaya. I don't know what role she's going to play for that. I believe she did kill a sea monster on her own, which is completely impressive. And she's also like Ningguang's Thang, they got a thing going on. What I'm also worrying about is like as the game starts, you have 1 5-star and then 3 4-stars. And I like that ratio. I think that's a good ratio to have. And I get quite annoyed that in the actual game, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio of 5 stars to 4 stars because they get like a new 5-star every banner. So I'm trying to keep, I want to keep that ratio in mind when I'm doing this list. I'm going to put her as a 4-star for now, but things go, if we're lacking here, I will bump her up. Bennett, easy for, I understand he is the only 6-star unit in the game in terms of gameplay, but in the story, he's not done anything. He's appeared for that one Dragon Spine event. He appeared for like a Razor story quest, where he was stuck behind a gate. He's not the one saving the world. Chong Yun, once again, not barely appeared in the game. In the actual game, the Exorcist thing is interesting, but I don't know how heavily explored it is. I mean, it's like Zhao's whole thing, to be fair. But I do have a point. The same point I've got with Ayaka, I've got with Chong Yun, and so that'll come up. I mean, the point's going to come up because it's also with Kaya and Barbara, and that's the sibling theory. I think it's quite a good ratio. If there's siblings, one should be a 4-star, one should be a 5-star. In this sibling bond, the more important character is Diluc. He's essentially the Batman of Mondstadt. He's got a huge history with the Knights of Phoenix. He was part of the Knights and then he left for some reason. And there's if you go on Twitter, there's some sexual tension between him and Jean. He's what makes Mondstadt more interesting, because everyone you meet beforehand is all Knights who are important, or all Knights of Favonius. And then Diluc comes in and he's like, no. Knights of Favonius, bad. Me, good. So, 5-star. Diona. I will admit, I've not done the Hangout event, so I don't know much about Diona. She's not had a huge Genshin impact on the world, so I'm not going to see her as that important. She hasn't even appeared in my version of the game. So, down there. I do have a C6 though, and I really need to build her. Official. She was really fun for that Meteor event. Her story is interesting. It's all very self-contained to just her. It doesn't really have much effect to the outside world, like Albedo, for instance. He's got a connection to Klee. He's got a connection to, I think her name's Lisa, like his mother lady. What he is has a knock-on effect to everything around him, while Officials is very self-contained, so I'm going to put her as a 4-star. Ganyu. The thighs that end lives. Easy, no. She's half Adepti. She's she's thousands of years old. But she's also a secretary. I really did not like her story quest. It just felt like, to me, the storyline was she was overworked and she was like, do I really want to do this human thing or not? She goes to try and find herself, and while she's away, everyone gets really overworked because they realise, oh my god, we've gave so much stuff to Ganyu. No wonder she was stressed. And then Ganyu comes back and people are like, great, you're back, here's all this work again. We've not solved the root of the problem at all, but you should be fine with it because this is a collectivist society and this makes you feel valued because you're doing so much work, but who cares about the actual strain it has on you? Oh, that annoyed me to no end. It had a Genshin impact on me. But I do think her role, she's still a super duper strong character. And she is thousands of years old, or hundreds of years old at least. Hu Tao's an interesting one. Hu Tao's a bit like Albedo, because she doesn't have an effect on the main storyline really. But she has very interesting personal lore, because she can talk to the dead. And the dead affects everywhere. I think it depends on if she's going to get more screen time, because Albedo has his yearly quest and there's quite clear connections, so his double gets out, it could cause who knows how much havoc. But if Hu Tao doesn't do her job properly, who knows what all the ghosts are going to do. I am leaning towards 5-star. Jean. sibling theory. Jean is also the very first authority figure that you meet in the game. So, you know, you get lost in a new world, you don't know what you're doing, and then she's the first person with, like, power over everyone else. Now, I'm also really looking forward to Varga. When he ever appears, I hope he's a playable character. I also hope he's huge, like those Fatui guys. I hope he's absolutely massive. I don't know, never met the guy. Really want to play as him. I really just like him. I don't know why. Anyway, this is about Jean. First authority figure. Sure, she might just be important in Mondstadt, but she's got a lot of history. You know, she's got the whole thing about being the Dandelion Knight. And then there seems to be a history between her and D-Look. Or maybe I'm just thinking about the shipping stuff I've seen. Maybe I'm crazy about that. But she's more important to the Mondstadt story than Barbara is. So I'm going to put us 5-star to her 4-star. The Ching. One of the... let's hope I can pronounce this right. Liyue Qixing. She's one of the important people in Liyue. But is she that important? It's interesting because, hold on, let's put it back down here for a second. Because Barbara, when the game started, was meant to be a 5-star. That's why she's got a 5-star burst. Then she got moved down. I do think that was the right choice. But I feel the Ching should have been moved down. In the actual story stuff, kind of really interesting. But part of me is like, the whole God thing, when she doesn't believe in, you know, the God in the 7. I thought that meant she didn't believe they were actually gods in the sense of, like, you know, omnipotent, omniscient, and benevolent. I thought she just thought they were like all-powerful beings, but they weren't actually gods. That makes sense. But then she's actually like in the Guoba festival. She's like, yeah, my granddad didn't believe in the gods, so I didn't either. And I'm like, you saw Morax come down every year? How do you not believe in him when you see him? It wasn't like, I don't believe they're gods. It's like, I don't actually believe they exist. But like, you saw him every year. He came down in a festival, a giant fuck-off dragon. I don't understand that. That annoyed me. I understand she's a realist, but I thought they were going for that angle, but they weren't. That was crazy to me. That was insane. She's an important part of the, you know, the government of Liyue. But there's someone more important than her. Klee, like Albedo, she does have that thing with Lisa, because that's her mother, who's like traveling around and seems to be a very interesting character. But Klee is very self-contained. There seems to be stuff that goes to Klee, but Klee doesn't go outwards. In the sense of like Albedo's got that close relation to Klee. Mona has a connection to Klee through their mutual masters of magic. But Klee, she's like, you know, the wild card character. And that can make her powerful. Can make her strong. We don't even know what species she is. She's got like elf ears, but I'm gonna put her as like a high 4-star, I think. Keep Beidou on top. Mona's like the first character you meet who's like, you're from another world. And I thought that was special. But then you go to Inazuma, and everyone in Inuzuma's like, you're from another world. And I'm like, are we keeping this a secret or not? This seemed very bizarre. So before Inazuma, I was like, she's like 5-star in terms of content. She like knows that secret. She's like connected to the stars, and stars is a huge motif in the game, you know. Everyone's got constellations. Like, she literally like can read them. And then she had a big part in the 1.1 limited quest. Maybe this is just me talking, you know.
Oh, it is me. It is just me talking. It is just me talking.
She's got, I think just because of her motif and her connection to the stars so much, it makes her really important. So I'm going to put as 5-star. Ningguang. I will never understand why they made her a 4-star. She is the head of Liyue. She's got a secretary who's like 1,000 years old. She's, you know, she's pushing forward the human age of Liyue. They were going to make her a 5-star and they bumped her down to a 4-star. I don't understand why they picked Ningguang over Keqing to be the 4-star. I prefer Keqing as a character, but I think Ningguang has more importance to the world than Keqing does. No, I was a 4-star. She's a maid, wants to be a knight. Cute story, doesn't affect anyone. Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi's interesting. Is she interesting? If she was interesting, maybe people would like her more. What's interesting about Chi-Chi is the lore about Baizu. Baizu's the more interesting one between the two. When you learn about the lore about between Baizu and Chi-Chi, it's literally like Baizu doesn't like her. He keeps her around for like experiments, but he doesn't actually care for her, which is super duper interesting. And I do hope they explore that more in like a real storyline, like maybe they'll make him a villain or something. I don't think she's not that strong in terms of the game. Well, in both the meta and the storyline, I think. So I'm going to put her in 4-star. Sucrose. I think she works well as a 4-star. She's, the assistant to Albedo. She's not got much going for her. She just helps out when she can. She's lovely. She's just telling stories. She's not changing lives. Razor's interest. I like Razor. I like his lore. Wolf Boy, Tarzan, Jungle Book, Mowgli. He's like the Mowgli of Teyvat. He's got a connection to the wolf god, but he himself is just like a vessel to like learn about that super interesting stuff. It's not him. That's super duper interesting, so I'm putting him as a 4-star. Venti, he's the wind Archon. Or the Anemo Archon. Venti is the Anemo Archon. He's got a super rich storyline about, the boy he's copied. This is what this is for. 6-star. I feel the Archon should just be above everyone else. I'm including the Traveler because the Traveler, like, in terms of lore, is like on par with the Archons. So let's get the two on here now. Zhongli and Raiden Shogun. They're all Archons. They're just better than everyone else. They're just better. They just are.
I am better than you.
Zhongling's a good cook. I like Zhongling. Who doesn't like Zhongling? She seems very well connected. It's one of those things where she's connected to interesting people, but she herself is not the one who drives the force in like the world. So she's a solid 4-star. Zhao's super interesting. Deptai lost all of his, his comrades in war. Although one of them's missing, one of them's not dead. I'm really looking forward to when they appear. A lot of story to him. He is strong in terms of the lore. 5-star. Zunsho, he likes books. I like books. He makes books. I try and make books. I've written some stuff. Good affluent family. He might be affecting the Liyue economy, but he's not like affecting he's not affecting the traveler's journey. I'm putting him as 4-star. Yunyan, all-star. Do I need to explain it? Rosari is interesting. I think there's not much. She's mysterious, but we don't know why she's mysterious, which is a good use of making someone mysterious is not explaining why they're mysterious. She's a nun, but she clearly doesn't want to be one. Why is she a nun? Why is she so pale? Is she, from Snezhnaya or something? Am I just assuming that because she's cryo? Is she a spy? Or is she just, lazy? I really think it depends what they do with her. That will define this. But for now, because of just we know so little, I'm putting her as a 4-star. But that could change. If she's like the evil mastermind of some plot to take over Mondstadt, consider her a 5-star. Eula's got such a super interesting history. Who doesn't love Eula? I love Eula. Tectone loves Eula. We all love Eula. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't learn like a whole new side of the Mondstadt lore with the Lawrence family and like her internal struggle to do it. That in itself is self-contained, but because she's trying to change her family's image, I think that does bump her to a 5-star. Her story is very much just her story, but it does have outward reach, whereas I don't think some of these other ones do. Yanfei, because she's half a death type. I think as part of the thing, they might have interesting lore, they might be important to the world, but I've also got to think about the Traveller's world in the sense of what do they get to know about. Like, Yarnfei could have a super interesting history about being half adept and struggling with that, kind of like Ganyu does. But, I mean, she doesn't, we don't see that at all. She just kind of lawyers up and does the thing, and she seems happy and great. But, you know, do I need to give lawyers more clout than putting them up as a 5-star? I don't think so. 4-star. Objection! Kazuha. I feel so bad for doing this. In the story, he comes out with like, you meet him and he's got a big revenge tale coming on. And he's like, I'm gonna get revenge on Ryan Shogun for killing my friend. And then he disappears. He just disappears. And you're like, okay, yeah, that was nice. I'll see you later. And then he appears again for the resistance fight a little bit, but he's just on the beta. And then he does save your life against Raiden. I mean, in a big moment, but it's just so quick. And I didn't get the catharsis from it. Appreciate, you know, him putting the vision on the grave as a, you know, part of that journey. Like it's a very nice bond, but it felt so self-contained. And it's one of those things, like, once again, if when we were in the Resistance, if we spent more time with the actual characters instead of that guy who died of old age when he was really young. I didn't like him for the first half of the story he was in. Second half, his voice actor carried him so well. His English voice acting was great. I didn't care about him being a rival. I was like, show me someone who actually has a unique character model. Tepe, that was it. And Tepe these nuts. Very self-contained storyline. Maybe if the vision comes up again. I mean, it would have been cool if we like had it as a fake vision or something, and like, or he like kept it, and like maybe you could do something where you could swap him from a MMO to a Electro character or something every now and then when you played him. I don't know, maybe they wouldn't want to do that. They clearly don't want to do that with the Delusion characters like Child. In theory, he should be a 5-star, but I'm putting him as a 4 as much as I don't want to. I just feel the story just squandered him so much. Yoimiya, she likes fire. She's a firework girl. And if she just liked fireworks, I would put her as a 4-star. I can feel the rage of people who would hate me if I put Kazuo as a 4-star and Yoimiya as a 5-star. I can taste it. But the thing is with Yoimiya, she was actively hiding out members of the Resistance, saving visions, breaking people out of prison. She was an active part of the Resistance. And like, I can understand why we didn't see all of it, because she was like, we knew she was busy saving these visions for other people when we weren't with her. She's got a lot of, that girl's got a lot of spunk to her. She's got a lot of spunk. But she might have a lot of spunk, but I'm gonna say 4-star. Sayu's got no semblance on the story. She appeared as a ninja so you can sneak back into Narukami Island, but she's, you know, doesn't do too much. Child. One of the Harbingers, a very big threat. 11 big bosses to fight. Top end of 5-star, I think. Kujosara. I mean, she is a top leading general for Inazuma. She's like important to Inazuma, but she's like spending her time being outsmarted by Kokomi and stuff. She's kind of there to be rolled on. Whether she likes that or not. High-end 4-star. Kokomi, be the Resistance. Try made into Whipty Whoppity World. Watsumi Island, 5-star. He's had a huge role. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it for some reason. No idea why. We should have been with her when she was like pushing out tactics. They probably didn't put us with her because all of her tactics are shit. Like, oh, don't get flanked, guys. I'm so smart. Aloy's not real. Toma, friendly guy. You saved his life. He saved your life. Much better than you saved his life. That was a really cool moment. That was actually I loved that moment. It was so funny. But yeah, he's just helping. He's just, you know, he's just like his little thing. He doesn't want to cause too much trouble. I can respect that. 4-star. Arataki Ito, baby. I mean, where the hell was he? What the hell was he doing for the entire story? His quest, very self-contained. Depending on what we get as the blue only start coming out of the woodwork and how many red only we see. And what I think if we saw more of that effect on society, I would put him as a 5-star. Like, as what he is very interesting. And like, he's a very, very likable character. I will happily admit he's super duper likable. But nothing he's done has really super affected the world. I'm happy to push him up later on in life. Goro, the general of the resistance, who we didn't see do anything. We did some target practice, I think, with him at one point, but other than that, that was it. He's an important guy. The whole Vision Hunter crew was a very important event, so having a big part of it should make you a 5-star. But I don't want to make him a 5-star. 4-star he goes. Shenhe. Judging by my own rules, she had a very self-contained story. But she's hot. And is that good enough to make her a 5-star? I think so. I mean, to be fair, there's a whole village involved with her story, which once again is very arbitrary because you never see the village again outside the cutscene. But she's got the whole demon thing going on, which is really cool. And like, she's, and there's, because she's, we know she's related to Zhongyu, and there's a whole dynamic there, and that gives it more history. And I appreciate we've barely seen either of any, but Shen had a lot going when she appeared. Right, it was a very contained storyline. If I was more awake, I could make this better, but I'm sticking with 5-star. Yunjin. I mean, the opera's important. Who doesn't like some opera? I like opera. That's not true. Why would I lie? I don't like opera. I don't like opera. But Liyue like opera. And maybe that's what's important. Maybe that's all that matters in the end. 4-star. Yai Miko, the familiar of Raiden Show. Easy 5-star. Easy 5-star. She's been looking after that. The siege of Inazuma. Ugh. Made it into a fox thing. It's anything. There's that thing with her hands, dude, her burst animation is so pretty. I don't care if she's jank. I haven't pulled for her, but such pretty animation. And anyway, now Kamisato Hayato. Unlike, I appreciate he wasn't there for the whole Inazuma thing, which is a bit sus. But sibling theory, if one's a 4-star, the other's a 5-star. The entire time Ayaka was around, he was like, my brother's the head of the family. I know the opinion was like Ayato's the head of the family, but people like Ayaka more. I do like that dynamic. I think it was quite interesting. I've got high hopes for Ayato's story. He's important. He's been referred to as important multiple times by multiple sources. But yeah, that's what I think. If you agree or disagree, please let me know in the comments below.